Okay, let's just dive right in. We're looking at what feels like a really frigid atmosphere around the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. It's a cold Sunday evening in Toronto for sure, but I think the temperature inside that management suite is probably even icier. The team is in a serious, serious crisis.
Oh, absolutely. They're struggling. I mean, they're sitting right at the bottom of the Atlantic Division. And for a team that's supposed to be a contender, being in the basement, it's a catastrophe. The pressure on Brett Treliving to do something must be suffocating.
Exactly. The fans are screaming for a change, and Treliving knows he can't just let this continue. The status quo, as well, is completely unacceptable. He's been scrambling for weeks, looking for any kind of lifeline. And now, our source material drops this piece of news. Veteran forward Danton Heinen. He's on waivers from the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And see, that's a move that, in the grand scheme of the NHL, might not make huge waves. But for the Leafs, given the context, it's enormous. It's an immediate, cost-free chance they might not be able to pass up.
So that's our mission for you today. We're going to try to figure out if this is the low-risk lifeline the Leafs need to fix that depth scoring problem. Or, is this just a desperation move, a Band-Aid on a gaping wound? We need to look at the player, the cost, and the real financial risk here.
And we have to start with just how urgent this is.
Yeah.
The Leafs' offensive numbers, the sources really highlight this critical imbalance. Your core guys, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, they're doing their job, but their work is getting completely undermined.
Yeah, evaporated is the word used for the depth scoring. And honestly, that feels generous. Beyond the top six, the offense has just flatlined. It's not just about a lack of goals, it's a lack of any sustained pressure.
And that creates a huge tactical problem for a coach like Craig Berube. When your bottom two lines can't generate a threat, can't even hold the puck, it just changes everything. Opponents can load up all their defensive attention on that one top line.
And that's why the sources say the Leafs are basically playing 4-on-5 when their depth guys are on the ice. They're just wasting shifts, forcing the stars to play unsustainable minutes just to keep their heads above water. This is what Treliving has to fix, like yesterday.
But fixing it, well, that's the conflict, isn't it? He's completely handcuffed. The sources describe it as one of the tightest salary cap situations in the league. There's zero flexibility. Every single dollar, every roster spot is under this intense microscope. They can't just trade for help.
Which brings us right back around to the waiver wire, and Danton Heinen specifically. It's sort of the ultimate opportunity to get talent without giving up any future assets.
And this is where we get to the contradiction that Danton Heinen really represents.
Totally. So Heinen is a 29-year-old vet. He's been around Bruins, Ducks, Penguins, a few other stops. But if you just look at his recent NHL stats, you're probably thinking, why would anyone want this guy? His last 13 games in Pittsburgh were forgettable. 1 goal, 1 assist.
And that's the data that got him waived. The Penguins are in their own full panic mode, and he was expendable. On the surface, he just looks like a struggling middle six forward. Maybe his best years are behind him.
But if we stop there, we miss the whole point. We have to look at his ceiling. This is a player who, with Boston, put up 47 points in a single season. Just last year, he managed a pretty respectable 29 points. The potential is there, it's just buried.
And this is the key piece of context from the source material. Why did he collapse this season? The analysis suggests the talent isn't washed up, it's just been buried under poor circumstances and bad luck in Pittsburgh. The real sign of his current form is what he did in the AHL right before that call-up.
Right. Tell us about those AHL numbers, because this is the detail that makes him a real target for a team like Toronto.
He was dominating. Playing for Wilkes-Barre Scranton, Heinen had 17 points in just 12 games, 6 goals, 11 assists, and crucially, a +10 rating. That isn't a struggling veteran. That's a player who is way too good for the minors.
But hold on, let me push back on that for a second. Isn't dominating the AHL proof he can beat inferior competition? Are we really saying Treliving should gamble $2 million on 12 good games in the minors? It kind of feels like buying high on a confidence streak, not a proven NHL player.
And that's the essential risk calculation. You're right to question it. But the rate of production, 17 and 12, that signals something more than just comfort. It signals confidence. It signals an ability to make plays he just wasn't making in the NHL. The thinking is, you put him in a new environment, somewhere he's actually needed, and you can reignite a career. Toronto doesn't need a 47-point guy. They would kill for a reliable 30-point player on their third line.
Okay, so let's assume the offensive upside is worth the risk. What else does he bring? What does Toronto need besides just scoring?
Versatility. That's the key tactical piece. He can play both wings. He's proven he can handle minutes in all situations. For a coach shuffling his lines, trying to find something that works, that kind of flexibility is gold.
Yeah.
Someone gets hurt, Heinen moves up. A line is getting caved in, he can go there to stabilize it.
And that two-way game is so important, especially with how the Leafs have been bleeding chances, odd man rushes, guys lost in coverage in the slot. We've seen it way too much.
Exactly. Heinen takes pride in his two-way game. He gets positioning, he back-checks hard, he doesn't take stupid risks. Just adding one responsible forward can help stabilize the whole five-man unit on the ice. It's about hockey IQ, not just speed.
Which brings us to the elephant in the room. The thing Treliving can't ignore, the salary cap. Even if he's a perfect fit on the ice, his cap hit is just over $2 million per season. The Leafs are squeezed tighter than a sardine can. How in the world do they even make that work?
This is where we stop talking hockey and start talking financial gymnastics. That $2 million hit is a genuine problem. But, and this is the critical counterpoint from the sources, the cost of acquisition is literally zero assets.
And that's the whole argument. No picks, no prospects. It's a free player. But free still costs $2 million in cap space, so what's the actual move? If they claim him, who goes?
Well, to fit that $2 million, Treliving would almost certainly have to put another player on waivers, someone on the current roster making near the league minimum.
Yeah.
You're basically swapping out a cheap player who isn't producing for a slightly more expensive one with, you hope, much higher upside.
So it's a direct replacement. It's admitting that one of the current guys just isn't cutting it. What about LTIR? I saw that mentioned.
That's the more complex strategy. If you have a player with a short-term injury, you can put them on long-term injured reserve. That opens up cap space temporarily. But it's a dangerous game. When that player comes back, you're in a jam all over again. You have to find that space, which might mean waiving someone else unexpectedly. For Heinen, it's more likely a straightforward roster swap.
And that limited downside is what makes it a true calculated gamble. If he comes in and struggles, you can just waive him again. You can bury him in the AHL, get some cap relief, and contain the damage. You're not locked in for years.
And don't forget the insurance policy aspect of it. Imagine if, say, William Nylander gets hurt. Even for a short time, suddenly you desperately need an experienced top-nine forward to weather the storm. Heinen can step into that role. A lot of their current call-ups can't.
Okay, so beyond the X's and O's, beyond the cap hits, what about the psychology of a move like this? Claiming a player, even a struggling one, it sends a huge signal, doesn't it?
It's a signal to that locker room that management isn't satisfied. It tells the guys who are underperforming that help is on the way and that their spot on the roster is now officially threatened. It creates a sense of urgency and accountability.
It's a wake-up call. The players who have been coasting in the bottom six now have a guy with a 47-point season on his resume breathing down their necks. They have to step up or they're out.
And it shows Treliving is being proactive. This small decision says a lot about the franchise right now.
Yeah.
They're trying to maximize a rapidly closing championship window. They just can't afford to sit back and be passive.
Right, because, as the source material puts it, and it's a bit brutal, hope is not a strategy. You can't just hope your current guys figure it out. Treliving has to take a calculated, zero-asset risk to try and inject some life into this team.
And the whole hockey world is watching this. They're desperate, they're capped out, and this waiver claim is a pure test of their management's agility. It's about finding value on the margins, because you can't afford those big, splashy trades.
So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways for you. The Maple Leafs are in crisis mode because their bottom six is broken. Danton Heinen is a high-upside gamble, backed by his history and, more importantly, his recent AHL dominance.
And the main hurdle is that $2 million cap hit, which requires some roster moves. But the huge, massive benefit is that zero assets acquisition cost. It reframes the whole thing. It's not a trade risk, it's a financial one.
And that zero asset part really defines the whole opportunity. This isn't about finding some superstar savior. It's about finding an undervalued veteran who just needs a change of scenery.